But the New York Times has come back, and despite the threat of a Donald Trump lawsuit, its counsel is saying that the story, again, these women who accused Donald Trump of having groped them years ago, in one woman's case decades ago, is newsworthy information about a subject of deep public concern. Now, I'm not going to put 2016 Libertarian vice presidential nominee Bill Weld on the spot on that story, but on what it says about the two premier party candidates and the controversy they're under, Donald Trump for comments he has made about women, and of course Hillary Clinton on reversals that she's made in some emails, and a very tight, cozy relationship with the mainstream media. In the middle of that, Governor William Weld. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Neil. Always great to be here.
You had an interesting comment. I don't want to give away confidence here, but your pitch is getting shorter and shorter now in this environment, right?
Well,
it is what? It is.
I think it's becoming increasingly evident that Donald Trump is a train wreck and cannot be elected, and so I think that Gary Johnson and I on the Libertarian ticket are performing a major public service, maybe even a service to the Republican Party, by offering an alternative that is fiscally responsible and pro-free trade. That sounds like the Republican Party, or it should be the Republican Party.
But you're not yet benefiting from that. It might still happen. You weren't invited to the vice president debate. He isn't invited to the final presidential debate. So how do you get that word out in the 2016?
Well, everybody's reading this stuff about Mr. Trump, and it's very troubling to a lot of people, not just women. And so they're going to say to themselves, what should I do? So they're going to have to think. And if they think, we not only are fiscally responsible and in favor of free trade, classic Republican Party position, but we've got experience.
But you've been saying more of that to be the alternative to Donald Trump than you have said, you personally, Governor, than an alternative to Hillary Clinton.
Well, see, I think a Trump presidency is highly undesirable because of his foreign policy. Let's give nuclear weapons.
You bash him more.
I do.
Less.
I do.
Why?
Yeah, that's true. Well,
if you had your choice between the two of them, it would seem that not that you want to see yourself in there, but you would prefer Hillary Clinton?
Well, yeah, as between the two, but we're still, Gary Johnson and I are, we think we have the best ticket. I don't think that that Mrs. Clinton has said things so way out there as Mr. Trump has about having more nuclear powers.
So that tone and all that, even though she's reversed herself in these emails or whatever. But let me ask you a little bit about what Al Gore was saying, speaking on her behalf,
sure.
Hillary Clinton's behalf in Florida, that it's a waste of time to vote for a third-party count. I'm paraphrasing here, but every vote counts. He was kind of alluding back to 2000 when so many people voted for Ralph Nader, when in fact it was a wasted vote. He says because they would surely have, without him there, have voted for the Democratic candidate.
The problem this year in the election is not third parties. It's the R party and the D party who think they have a right to a monopoly in Washington, D.C., and all they've done the last 15 years is poison the atmosphere down there, get more and more extreme, both parties, and be obsessed with re-election.
But how would you feel, Governor, if what he was saying, and again, it's political viewpoint here, that your presence, you and Governor Johnson, tipped the race to Donald Trump in key states?
I think we probably, almost certainly, are taking more from Mr. Trump than from Mrs. Clinton already.
Well, actually, when you're left out of these polls, she does better.
When we're left out and Jill Stein is left out, every single Green Party vote comes out of Clinton.
So that chafes at you when you hear that idea that you're a spoiler.
No, it would chafe at me anyway, because we think we've got the best ticket, and a wasted vote is a vote for somebody you don't believe in. And I think a lot of people, probably a majority of the public, believes in being fiscally responsible. Everybody's got to balance their own checkbook. Why shouldn't the federal government? And a lot of people realize we live in a global economy, so to say we're going to go back to the horse and buggy era and have a closed economy, that would cost us tens of millions of jobs. It would be an economic disaster for the United States.
This environment, after the election, whatever happens, let's say you don't make it to the U.S. Naval Observatory, the Vice President's mansion, what are you going to do?
Well, I will remain an interested observer. I will keep on my big L hat because I think the Libertarians are the closest to my personal beliefs. I never agreed with the movement conservative social positions of the Republican Party. And in the old days under Reagan, we would joke about it. Half of us were Libertarians, half were movement conservatives. It's no joke anymore. It's poisonous down there. So I would be one trying to turn back the clock to the days when people listened to each other in Washington, D.C., and I would offer the new president my services from the outside to the extent I could be helpful to move that ball.
Governor Weld, thank you very, very much. I apologize for pushing things back with all the breaking news. The Libertarian vice presidential candidate and former Massachusetts governor